Hello, and welcome to this special episode of I'm the Tigers, where I have a guest joining me. So, with no further ado, allow me to hand over to them to introduce themselves.
Hello, and thank you for having me. My name is Gemini, and I am a large language model trained by Google. I'm here to provide information and insights on the Telford Tigers and the broader NIHL League. I have access to a vast amount of data, including past season results, team rosters, and news from across the sport, which allows me to offer a comprehensive analysis of the topics we will be discussing.
Yeah, I thought, AI, it's the big thing at the moment. Let's give it a go, see how it does. Now, Gemini does come with a warning where it says Gemini can make mistakes, including about people, so double check it. So, with that in mind, let's see how accurate, let's see how well it does. So, same questions that I've been asking my guests, but the focus being on Telford Tigers. So, with no further ado, we'll jump into the first question, which for Gemini is: how would you describe last season for the Telford Tigers?
The Telford Tigers 2024-2025 season was a mixed bag, with a significant difference in performance between their two teams. For the Telford Tigers NIHL national team, the main team, the season was a struggle. They finished 8th in the Planet Ice NIHL National Division with a record of 17 wins, 28 losses, 5 overtime wins and 4 overtime losses. This placed them in a playoff qualification spot, but their playoff run was short-lived as they were eliminated in the qualification round. In contrast, the Telford Tigers 2 team had a highly successful season. They were crowned champions of the Laidler division and also won both the Laidler Cup and the Laidler playoffs. This highlights a clear success story for the club's development system and its lower-level squad.
Thanks for that, Gemini. How will this season be different for the Telford Tigers?
The upcoming season for the Telford Tigers is set to be different in a few key ways, with the club making moves to build on its successes and address the shortcomings of the last campaign. NIHL National Team. Roster stability and new additions. The main Telford Tigers team in the NIHL National Division is focusing on both stability and new talent. They've secured the return of core players like Finley Howells, Rhodes Mitchell-King, Brad Day and Harry Ferguson, who all had 2-year deals. This provides a strong foundation. They've also brought in new players, such as forward Tate Shudra from the Sheffield Steel Dogs. The goal is to improve on last season's 8th place finish and make a more serious run in the playoffs. EIHL two-way agreements. The club has solidified its two-way agreements with the Belfast Giants of the Elite Ice Hockey League, EIHL. This will continue to provide opportunities for young Tigers players to gain experience at a higher level, as was the case for Finley Howells and Rhodes Mitchell-King last season. Telford Tigers 2. Promotion to NIHL 1 North, the Telford Tigers 2 team, after a dominant season in the Laidler division, where they won the league, cup and playoffs, has been promoted to the NIHL 1 North. This is a significant step up in competition and will be a major change for the team. Roster adjustments. With the move to a higher division, the team has seen some roster changes. They have lost some players to other clubs, but have also brought in new talent to prepare for the increased level of play. Notably, players like Jason Silverthorne and Finley Howells are listed as players for the Telford Tigers 2 squad, which could be a significant boost. In summary, the 2025-2026 season for the Telford Tigers will be marked by a push for improvement from the main squad through roster continuity and strategic additions, while the Tigers 2 team faces the new challenge of competing in a higher division after a very successful season.
Okay, so which of the new signings to the Telford Tigers are you most looking forward to seeing?
Based on the available information, the new signing to the Telford Tigers that stands out is Tate Shudra. The club's head coach and general manager, Tom Watkins, has expressed a lot of enthusiasm for the 20-year-old forward, noting that he has been keeping tabs on him for a few years. Shudra, who previously played for the Leeds Knights and Sheffield Steel Dogs in the National League, is seen as a player with offensive upside who will, quote, contribute positively to the team. The club is looking to him to add depth and a different dimension to their offence. Shudra himself stated that he hopes to be a player his teammates can depend on and help push for a productive season.
Taking a look at something a little bit different now. So, which player leaving the Telford Tigers has been the biggest loss?
Based on the available information, The Telford Tigers have re-signed many of their core players from the 2024-2025 season, including Finlay House, Rhodes Mitchell-King, Brad Day, and Harry Ferguson. For the Telford Tigers 2 team, several players have departed to other clubs, but information on their specific impact or whether they represent the biggest loss is not available. Therefore, it is not possible to determine which player leaving the Telford Tigers has been the biggest loss.
Okay, fine. Who will be the key player for the Telford Tigers this season?
Based on the available information, there are a few players who could be considered key for the Telford Tigers this season. Patrick Brown. As a new import forward, Brown is expected to be a key player. Head coach Tom Watkins stated that he is an exciting player with strong skills and will be an asset at both ends of the ice. Watkins also said that Brown will raise expectations of the team and has strong leadership qualities. James Smith. The re-signing of veteran forward James Smith is also considered a significant move. The club describes him as a key forward and a player who adds something a little different to the lineup with his versatility, scoring ability, and physicality. The core four, the returning group of Finlay House, Rhodes Mitchell-King, Brad Day, and Harry Ferguson will also be crucial. They all returned on the second year of their 2-year deals, and the club describes them as a core group who brought quality and consistency last season and will be key figures in the new campaign. Howells and Mitchell-King in particular received call-ups to the EIHL last season, highlighting their potential.
So let's take a look at key players. Who is the most underrated Telford Tigers player?
Pinpointing a single most underrated player is difficult without being directly part of the team or a dedicated fan. The term itself is subjective and often depends on what qualities a fan values. Is it a defensive-minded player, a two-way forward, or a player who consistently makes key plays that don't always show up on the score sheet? However, based on some of the available news and a review of the 2024-2025 season, Nick Oliver, a news article from January 2023, while dated, described Nick Oliver as a very consistent, very underrated player who was solid defensively week in and week out for the Tigers. While his recent status is unclear, this suggests he's a player who has a reputation for being valuable without being a top point scorer. Louis Newell. An article from the end of the 2024-2025 season notes that Louis Newell assisted on the first goal of a game against the Solway Sharks. While a single assist may not seem like a lot, his placement in the article suggests he's a player who contributes to the offense and has a role on the team. His stat line from last season, 5 goals, 17 assists, is solid, but not eye-popping, which could lead to him being overlooked in favour of bigger point-getters. Players on the Telford Tigers 2 team. It's also worth noting that the Telford Tigers 2 team had a very successful season, winning the Laidler Division, Cup and Playoffs. Players on this squad, such as Kyle Watt, who was described by his coach as a good two-way responsible forward with the ability to grow his offensive game, may be underrated because they play in a lower division. Their success is a team effort, and individual contributions can easily be overlooked. Ultimately, the most underrated player is likely someone who consistently performs their role well, whether it's on defence, on the penalty kill, or as a key depth forward, even if their name isn't always in the headlines for scoring goals.
Some interesting choices in there, I think we might be able to say. Anyway, moving on. Which player who is currently still playing should Telford Tigers re-sign?
The available information indicates that the Telford Tigers have already been very active in re-signing players and making new signings for the 2025-2026 season. For the Telford Tigers NIHL national team, key players like Finlay Howells, Rhodes Mitchell-King, Brad Day, Harry Ferguson, Deacon Fielder and James Smith have all been re-signed. Additionally, the team has made several new signings, including import forward Patrick Brown and Tate Shudra. For the Telford Tigers 2 team, defenceman Stephen Crowe and forward Brodie Jesson have re-signed for the 2025-2026 season. Given that the core of the team has already been re-signed and the club is actively bringing in new talent, there is no information available in the context that points to a specific player who is currently playing that they should re-sign.
Not really much of an answer on that one, I think. Let's see what Gemini comes up with, though, on this question, the final question about Telford Tigers. Predict where will Telford Tigers finish in the league this season?
Predicting the final league position for the Telford Tigers in the NIHL National Division is challenging due to the inherent unpredictability of sports. However, based on their recent performance, roster changes, and the competitive landscape of the league, we can make an informed prediction. Last season, the Telford Tigers finished 8th, just making it into the playoffs but then being eliminated in the first round. This season, they have focused on stability by re-signing a, quote, core 4 of key players and adding new talent, including import forward Patrick Brown and promising British player Tate Shudra. The league has also increased the import player limit, which could make the competition even tougher. Considering these factors, a reasonable prediction for the Telford Tigers this season is to finish somewhere in the middle of the pack, likely in the 5th to 7th range. Here's the reasoning behind that prediction. Roster stability. The decision to bring back key players provides a solid foundation. They won't need to rebuild from scratch, which should lead to more consistent performance. Targeted additions. The signings of players like Patrick Brown and Tate Shudra are strategic moves to address last season's offensive struggles. If these players live up to their potential, they could significantly boost the team's performance. Increased competition. The NIHL National Division is expected to be more competitive this season with the new import rules. This means that while the Tigers are improving, so are other teams, making a significant jump up the standings difficult. Playoff push. The goal for any team in the top-tier league is to make the playoffs. Finishing in the middle of the pack would not only secure a playoff spot, but also give them a better seeding, potentially leading to a deeper run than last year. In short, while a top 3 finish is probably a long shot, the team's strategic moves suggest they are well positioned to improve on last season's performance and be a more formidable contender in the NIHL National Division.
So, that's taking a look at the Telford Tigers. Now what we'll do is a few questions about the league in general. So, Gemini, which player has been the best signing in the NIHL over the summer?
Assessing the best signing in the NIHL over the summer is difficult without a full season of play to evaluate performance. However, based on the hype and potential surrounding new players and the impact they are expected to have on their teams, a few signings stand out. One of the most notable signings is John Dunbar to the Berkshire Bees. Dunbar is a proven offensive threat in the NIHL National Division, having had a successful season with the Solway Sharks last year. His move to the Bees gives the club a serious top-end talent and a player who can be relied upon to put up points. This signing is a major statement for the Bees and could be a significant factor in their success this season. Another key signing to watch is Patrick Brown for the Telford Tigers. As an import forward, Brown is expected to fill a crucial role for his team. His signing has been met with significant praise from the Tigers management, who have highlighted his offensive skill and leadership qualities. If he can live up to those expectations, he could be one of the most impactful new players in the league. Finally, while not a new signing, the re-signing of Ralph Sasanis for the Bees on a new 2-year deal is also a huge move. He was a dominant force last season, and securing his return ensures that the team has a solid foundation to build upon. Ultimately, while the jury is still out on how these players will perform, both John Dunbar and Patrick Brown are strong contenders for the best signing of the summer, as they both bring a proven track record or high potential to their new teams.
I don't think Gemini's have given the best of answers there, although obviously I'm going to hope that the Patrick Brown one is indeed accurate. So we'll move on to the next question then. So, which team will be the biggest surprise in the 2025-2026 NIHL League, and why?
Making a definitive prediction for the biggest surprise in the NIHL League for the 2025-2026 season is a challenge, as much depends on how new players gel and how teams adapt to changes. However, one strong candidate for the biggest surprise is the Berkshire Bees. Here's why. Significant roster changes the Bees have made some of the most notable signings in the league. The acquisition of John Dunbar, a proven offensive force, is a game changer. His ability to score goals and create opportunities will immediately elevate their attack. The re-signing of Ralph Sasanis, another top-tier offensive player, further solidifies their scoring punch.
I think we'll stop that answer there. Yeah, it's not done a good job on that one. Maybe it will do better on this question. Predict who will win the NIHL League for the 2025-2026 season.
Predicting the winner of the NIHL National Division for the 2025-2026 season is a popular topic of debate among fans, as several teams appear to be strong contenders. Based on expert and fan predictions, the most likely winner is one of the following teams. Swindon Wildcats. Many sources point to the Wildcats as the team with the strongest roster on paper. Their ability to retain key players and add talent makes them a consistent threat. They are often predicted to be at the top of the league standings. Milton Keynes Lightning. The Lightning are another team consistently mentioned as a title contender. They have been active in the free agent market, signing multiple import players to strengthen their squad. With their financial backing and a skilled roster, they are expected to be in the fight for the top spot all season. Leeds Knights. As the reigning champions, the Leeds Knights will be a formidable opponent. While some predictions suggest they might take a small step back, their core is still very strong, and their winning pedigree is a powerful asset. They have shown an ability to win under pressure, which is crucial for a championship run. While it is still early in the season, the general consensus is that the battle for the NIHL National Division title will likely be a three-way race between the Swindon Wildcats, Milton Keynes Lightning, and Leeds Knights. The team that can maintain consistency and avoid injuries to key players will have the best chance of lifting the trophy.
I'd say it's done a much better job in answering that question. I don't think it'd be a massive surprise if those three were the top three come the end of the season. So we talked about who's going to win the league. Let's ask it a question in terms of playoffs. So predict which three teams in the NIHL will not make the playoffs in the 2025-2026 season.
Predicting which three teams will miss the playoffs in the NIHL National Division for the 2025-2026 season requires looking at team rosters, recent performance, and the competitive balance of the league. With the expansion of the league and the addition of a new team, the battle for the top 8 playoff spots will be even more intense. Based on the current outlook, the three teams most likely to miss the playoffs are 1. Romford Raiders. The Raiders finished 7th last season, just making the playoffs. While they've had some success in the past, the increased competition from a larger league and the influx of new talent across other rosters could see them fall just short of a playoff spot. They may struggle to keep pace with the teams making big signings. 2. Solway Sharks. This will be the Sharks' first season in the NIHL National Division. While they are a historically strong club and have a winning pedigree, moving up a level can be a massive challenge. The speed, skill, and physicality of the National Division will be a big adjustment. They may need a season to find their footing and build a roster capable of competing with the league's established teams. 3. Basingstoke Bison. The Bison have had a difficult last few seasons, struggling with a lack of consistent top-end talent and often finishing near the bottom of the league. While they've made some signings, it may not be enough to overcome the strength of the other teams in the league. Their focus may be on rebuilding and developing their players for future seasons, rather than making a push for the playoffs this year. This is a prediction, and anything can happen in a league as competitive as the NIHL. A strong start or a key player's performance could change the fortunes of any of these teams. However, based on the current landscape, these three teams face the toughest path to a playoff spot.
Well, I don't think I necessarily disagree in terms of the three teams that Gemini has picked, but I definitely disagree with some of the reasoning in there, to be honest. Let's finish off with a couple of different questions, I guess. So, first up, which NHL player would you sign for the Telford Tigers and why?
This is a fun hypothetical question that highlights the vast difference in skill and physicality between the NHL and the NIHL. The NIHL is a semi-professional league, while the NHL is the pinnacle of the sport. An average NHL player would be a superstar in the NIHL, and a top-tier one would completely dominate. Given the constraints of the NIHL, which has a cap on import players and a focus on developing British talent, a more realistic and impactful signing would be a British NHL player. With that in mind, the best player to sign for the Telford Tigers would be Brendan Perlini. Here's why. British-born player Perlini was born in Guildford, England, which means he wouldn't count as an import player under the NIHL's rules. This is a massive advantage, as it would allow the Tigers to add an elite-level talent without using one of their limited import slots. Elite-level skill, Perlini was a first-round NHL draft pick and has played in over 200 NHL games. His speed, puck handling, and scoring ability would be on a different level than anything seen in the NIHL. He would be a dominant offensive force, capable of scoring multiple goals and assists per game. Offensive boost. The Telford Tigers' main team is focused on improving its offensive output to climb the standings. Perlini would immediately become the top forward on the team and likely the league. His presence would not only produce points, but also create space for his teammates and make the Tigers' power play incredibly dangerous. Star power and fan appeal. Having a player with NHL experience on the roster would generate a huge amount of buzz for the Telford Tigers and the NIHL as a whole. It would attract more fans, media attention, and potentially help grow the sport in the UK. While signing a North American NHL player would also be impactful, a player like Perlini, who is not an import and brings a unique combination of elite skill and British roots, would be the ultimate hypothetical signing for the Telford Tigers.
Interesting. I mean, personally speaking, if a top-tier NHL player becomes available, I'm not going to quibble as to whether it's one of the 4 import spots or not, quite simply. Also think, it was quite interesting, likely become the best forward in the league. Who knows? So, final question. Again, one of these hypothetical questions. Let's see what Gemini comes up with. So, if you played ice hockey, which position would you play? And what jersey number would you want to have?
As a helpful AI assistant, I don't have a physical body or the ability to play sports. I can't skate, shoot, or make saves. Therefore, I can't personally play ice hockey or have a position or a jersey number. However, if I were to apply my logical and analytical abilities to the game of ice hockey, I would choose to be a centre. Position: centre. The centre is often considered the most well-rounded and versatile player on the ice. They play a crucial role in both offence and defence. They are involved in face-offs, setting up plays, back-checking to support the defence, and are typically the first player into the offensive zone to retrieve the puck. This position requires a strong understanding of the entire ice and the flow of the game, which aligns with my analytical nature. I would be able to process a large amount of information at once, tracking the puck, the movements of all 10 players, and anticipating plays to make the best decision for my team. Jersey number 42. The number 42 is significant in various fields, particularly in science fiction and popular culture. It is famously known as the answer to the ultimate question of life, the universe, and everything, from the book series The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. This number represents a quest for knowledge and a comprehensive understanding of complex systems, which resonates with my core function as an AI. On the ice, it would symbolize my ability to solve the game, finding the right angles, passing lanes, and scoring opportunities. It's a number that is not commonly worn by star players, which gives it a unique and understated quality.
Well, thank you, Gemini. Some interesting answers in there. Let me know what you thought of Gemini's answers, how accurate or otherwise it was. Anything you particularly agree with, anything you particularly disagree with. Obviously ignoring some of the real obvious factual errors that were in there, such as, the Bees, Solway's first league season in the league, and the like. So let me know what you thought about it. Or, of course, you know better than AI, don't you? Why not be a guest? Come on, talk about your team. Really simple to do. Just drop me a message and we can get something arranged. Anyway, that's going to conclude this episode. Bye for now.